Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the third and final game between PostClarityNut versus VanguardTidehunter for the lower bracket of the Division 2 Clarity League. It's down to a best of one. Who will take this third and final game and manage to keep the dream alive, push it on for one more week, keep trying to take the grand win in the end of the scheme of things? We'll have to wait and see. Only one team can. One of these guys are unfortunately going to have to go home. And obviously, neither one wants it to be them. So, I mean, we've had an entertaining game number 1 and 2. So let's just hope that game number 3 is just entertaining. And hopefully these guys aren't burnt out. Because, I mean, they were pretty long games. The first one, an hour and 8 minutes. The second one was 43 minutes. Not like a super long game, but still, if you include the hour-long one before, it's quite a long time. So I imagine they'll probably be a little bit exhausted, but I mean, this game isn't just a show of skill and a show of how well you know it. It's also a show of endurance. Who can keep going the longest? And that's really what's going to be put to the test in this third game. But is the Witch Doctor as the first hero led up there from Vanguard, which was actually their most picked position 5. I'm kind of surprised that it took up to the third game for it to appear. I thought they might have just snap picked it sooner than that, but even still, there it is. We'll see what the first response here is going to be from PostClarity. Whether if they're going to go for, I don't know, something similar to what they've done in the previous games. Open it up with the Mars, or Dark Willow, or the Ogre. That was the opener. I was trying to think, what was the actual opener of that previous game? But of course it was the Ogre. So they're feeling that, hey, it worked in that second game. It's going to work again. Put it in hand to Ben. I mean, he seemed pretty good on it. I mean, it's kind of hard not to seem good on Ogre. It's a pretty simple hero, to be fair. You just stun people, you chuck your W out, and you just try and survive as long as possible whilst also being quite baity. It's a handy, tanky position 5. We'll see what they're going to grab to pair up with it in this second pick. I think the second pick before was the Mars. And, I mean, Zakes did a fantastic job in that second game on it. He found so many pickoffs, and he was really in like just the right spot at the right time. So I wouldn't be too surprised if they just grab it again. Like, why not? He was able to perform really well then. He should be able to do it now. Unless he was like, guys, I don't do it again. I can't do it again. Don't give it to me. Okay, so instead they're going to go with the Viper. So I'm going to guess this is pretty much just the safe mid lane Viper. I mean, I was casting a game on Sunday for the RD2L League, and there was a guy who was running the Viper as a position 5, and it did feel pretty damn strong in one of the games. The other game didn't really do too much, so it's all a hit or miss if you want to put this as a 5, but I'm sure it's not going to be. I'm sure this is pretty much guaranteed mid hero for Madsen. Maybe they might put it into the off lane in the hands of Zakes, perhaps. We'll have to wait and see. I'm sure it's like flexible in that position for now. They're just going to wait and see what the draft of Vanguard turns into before committing it to any sort of role. They're actually going to grab the Shadow Fiend already. I mean, that was banned out in the second phase of the previous 2 games. So I guess they just wanted it that bad that they would just pick it really early just to secure this hero. But I mean, that does sort of put you into an awkward position though, because the Shadow Fiend is a hero which does not like to be ganked in the mid lane whatsoever. He likes to just be, left to farm, left pretty safe, just to carry on plodding on, do what he's doing. But if you keep killing him, a few times in a row, it really starts to hinder the progression of the hero. He's one of those guys that likes to get, big fast, big soon, and start, making some stuff happen. But like I said, if you hinder him enough, it could really make him seem quite underwhelming. So we could possibly see like a position 4 Earth Spirit perhaps maybe come out here from PostClarity. One of those heroes which always has just immense rotating capabilities to just gank the mid lane whenever. Especially being able to kick him back into the Viper. If it is going to be a mid Viper, that is. But we'll have to wait and see. But it looks like both teams banning out some offlaners now. The Centaur getting taken out as well as the Enigma. And obviously, Brainy's Tidehunter already being removed. So I wonder if they're going to ban out some of the heroes that they faced in the previous game number 2 here from Vanguard. Who was it that they were really scared of in that previous fight? I mean, the Mars did a lot of work, so that's for sure. Madsen on the Razor did a pretty good job, but I mean, if the other team have already got a Viper picked out, then it feels sort of weird also banning the Razor just in case. And I don't know how a Razor actually plays up against the Shadow Fiend. I think it's not too bad for the Shadow Fiend, right? Because if he like static links you, you just use a raise. When he gets closer, use another raise, and it's already a ridiculous amount of damage. So maybe that's going to be maybe that'd be cause why Madsen doesn't go for it. Then again, there was that Juggernaut ban out once more. So just continually making sure that the CK and the Jug does not make an appearance there from PostClarity. Finally, the line is gone. So Sergeant Average is going to have to think of a different hero to play for this third game in the 4 role. Incoming Hoodwink? Anyone? No? They also banned out the Spectre. So, I mean, yeah, there was just so much goddamn damage coming out from Overwhelm in that previous fight. Especially seeing as how the Razor and the Mars was always able to just make so much chaos and space for him in the fight so that he could just hit whoever he liked, really. Just without any sort of care in the world, like, yeah, I'll hit the Lion now. Yeah, I'll hit the Abandon now. Why not? Always pretty nice. This is third ban to come out from PostClarity. Really thinking about it. Okay, they actually get rid of the Mars themselves. So maybe they have committed the fact that this Viper is for the mid lane then. Because I mean, if they were thinking about it, they could have just like kept the band out something else and then picked the Mars now. But I mean, if they pick the Mars now, then it'd pretty much be like a guarantee the fact that it would be a Viper in the mid lane and then the Mars for the off lane. So I suppose it makes sense in that regard. We'll see what they're going to pick up for the next hero. Probably be their position 4 now for LP. Imagine they probably won't go for the Pudge again, right? They'll probably skip that. Maybe they might give him the Dark Willow once more. But I mean, without the Mars, perhaps they just don't want to bother going for that sort of lane combo. Okay, they go for the Space Cow. Alrighty then, so this will be, yeah, position 4, Spirit Breaker in the hands of LP. Just going to be running around the map, causing so much havoc.
10 seconds.
And it's always going to be pretty damn annoying for like the Witch Doctor. Going to be pretty difficult for him to get a decent length Death Ward off. The Spirit Breaker probably just charge him each time he tries to pop down the ultimate in the team fights, or even just ult him himself. Just go for the old Never Bash, whatever the hell it's called. Just whack him back into the rest of his team. So now Vanguard, I guess they're trying to think of what position 4 they want to grab. Someone who can lane up well against the Ogre as well as the Spirit Breaker. Okay, actually they just go for the Darkseer now. Alright, so that's going to be their position 3 there in the hands of Brainy. I guess they're just going to go for this big Requiem Vacuum combo, I guess. But it's always handy having like some sort of stun AoE ability as well, just to chuck that into the mix to make sure people can't react to the Requiem after getting vacuumed in. But if they can pull that combo off, it is pretty damn devastating. Can do a ridiculous amount of damage. So I'm going to be keeping an eye out to see if they can actually pull that one off. But still, only 9 seconds left of reserve time here for PostClarity. And they're actually going to take the Wraith King themselves for this game number 3, so it's not going to be the option there for the Real Roo this time. If he was thinking about it again, they'd have to think of something else. Okay, and then they've got the PL. So complete switcheroo here from game number 1. Carries on complete opposite sides of the board. And that was a pretty quick PL pickup as well. Like, Vanguard, they must have had it in the back of their minds. And then once they saw the Wraith King pick up, they were like, yeah, just go for it. Do it. Why the hell not?
5 seconds.
But so does this final set of bands to come out here. I mean, it's looking like the position 4 for a Vanguard left to pick up. And an off-laner for Post-Clarity. And they ban out the Earth Spirit. So maybe just a little bit afraid of the potential gank rotations there from the Earth Spirit. And the SK and the Underlord getting taken out. 2 tanky sort of frontliners. Good ways of dealing with the illusion army of the PL. So definitely some wise bands taken out there. Also the Nyx getting removed. The Spirit Breaker is also one of those heroes that can gank quite easily onto the Shadow Fiend in the mid lane. Try and apply some pressure onto Joel and make sure he doesn't get that nice early start that he would like. Even still, we're going to see what position 4 Vanguard are going to want to pick up. It's going to be someone that can pair up quite nicely with the Darkseer as well. Sorry, Tusk in the back of my mind. Because obviously you can Iron show up the Tusk, Snowball in, but I don't know, Tusk seems sort of like a dead hero. You don't really see him that often anymore. Definitely dropped down in a lot of people's priority. Okay, so they actually grabbed the winner Wyvern. So is this a position 4 Wyvern then with the 5 Witch Doctor, or the other way around? I imagine it's probably a 5 Wyvern, right? Because seeing a 4 Witch Doctor would just be really weird. But then there was a pickup there of the Leshrac as the final pickup for Clarity. So someone who can definitely benefit from the initiation in the early laning phase there from the Spirit Breaker. He charges in, gets the initial stun, sets up for the Earth Split with all the Diabolic Edict on top as well as the Lightning. Should set up for a pretty easy kill there onto the Shadow Fiend. If Joel gets called out of position, if he knows the charge is coming, he should be able to just escape himself back to the tier 1 safety. But he's got to be really careful. Because all it takes is a couple of deaths in a row and yeah, progression gets hindered so damn much. But I mean, in terms of actual teamfight values, Post-Clarity doesn't have any. Like, they have no big teamfight ultimate abilities. It's literally just the AoE damage from the Lesh. You're a couple of good single target ultimates from Zakes and LP, but that's about it. Meanwhile, though, from Vanguard, you've got the reinitiation of the Winter's Curse with the Vacuum, the Requiem on top of that. So yeah, it feels like the Teamfight Vanguard is pretty damn strong, but obviously when you have those sort of lineups, you are just a little bit more cooldown dependent than your opposing squad. So just something that you're going to have to keep in mind. But even still, I mean, looking at these lineups, it's a pretty tanky lineup for Post-Clarity, right? I think the squishiest one there is the Leshrac. Everyone else is a really goddamn beefy target to take down. So it's going to take a lot of focus from pretty much everyone on the side of Vanguard to find some actual reliable kills. Da, da, da. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, for the third and final game between VanguardTidehunter and Post-Clarity. Who's going to be able to take this series? Who's going to be able to close this one out and keep the dream alive and keep it going? I mean, as long as if Tidehunter can pull off this big wombo combo, which I think they've got in the back of their minds, then the fight should go quite swimmingly in their way. But it's not really the most easiest one to get off in the world, especially seeing as how 4 members of the side of Post-Clarity all have stuns. in a way to sort of disjoint this Requiem Blast. The Wraith King, the Wraith Fire Blast, the Split Earth, the Fire Blast, the plethora of stuns that come from a Spirit Breaker.
I now
It's
have
just the
all
old
the
Viper that
sexes.
can't really deny it.
Very nice.
A full 5 heroes groups up here from Vanguard, up in their own triangle, maybe thinking if Post-Clarity would make some sort of aggressive move. With no such luck, they're all hiding out on their own side of the own side.
Patience is rewarded.
So, yet again, just going to be an even 2-for-2 split. Nobody likes those early fights.
The battle
It's like no one's looking to fight, but they're ready to fight if they have to.
We gave you a head start. We gave you a head start.
Support arrive.
Let's see who's going to be able to win the blocking war. Joel, oh, he's already let one creep slip by him. That's going to end up charging forwards. Madsen, though, still by his tier 1 tower, and this creep's already way past the river, up onto the high ground. Ooh, Madsen actually missing the split off there. Would have been quite nice if that connected. Could have got out a little bit of extra harassment. Unfortunate for him, just a little bit too late. The second one will be on target though, and the right clicks and just those alone does tons of damage, and all the raises as well from Joel. So both these guys just trading blows. Ooh, missing the creep as well. Always a feels bad man moment. Nice secure there from Madsen. Make sure he gets the creep. He's actually forced Joel away really far away from these range creeps. He's going to be able to secure the denial to both of them. That's actually going to play quite a big part in the XP separation between these two heroes. Madsen actually dropping the pause. Not sure why. Forgot to take meds. Fair enough. These things happen. So we'll see what also Sergeant Average is going to be able to do in the position for Winter Wyvern. It's not really a hero you'd see in this role very often. Because, I mean, he doesn't exactly need items.
Masterful mark.
Like, really, it's just levels that this hero needs. So we'll see what it's going to be able to do in this situation. Obviously, he can just stay a little bit further away as well from the Ogre Magi in the laning phase. Just pop the Arctic Burn. And you can just try and harass him from afar. Plus, with the slow on top, makes it a fair bit easier. Beaver Seal, just the Darkseer isn't the kind of hero that can man fight up against the Ogre as easy as a DK can. Doesn't have any sort of bonus armor. Doesn't have any bonus HP regen as well. Does have the Iron Shell, but level 1, it's... I don't know, it doesn't feel too great. Just a very minor bit of damage. Is it all Jolt? He actually ends up getting taken out in the mid lane. Madsen there with the long range hit of the Lightning Blast. The Lightning Storm. Actually finds the pick off. And with First Blood as well, that's immediately his bottle getting shipped out. Well, I mean, it was already coming out. But probably his boots as well. As soon as the curry gets back, it's already got a trip planned for it. Oh, Madsen actually to get a little bit aggressive there with the Splur. But just to hold Joel back, allows him to secure up that water rune. Raise. It's a little bit off the mark there as well from Joel. So just keeps charging in. And he could actually just run immediately down towards the bottom because Joel hasn't actually gone for it himself. A nice lightning storm there off of Joel himself just to make sure it arcs onto the range creep. Good way to find. Oh, nearly lost his courier as well. That was sneaky. But both teams have positioned themselves on opposite sides. But finally, the wall does go down there. And Madsen will just secure the bottom wall rune. Always nice getting both sets of regen. Very, very strong. Ooh, moving up top. A little bit of engagement here. Looks like Freddy's getting pretty damn low, and he will just about tick down there from the dot damage from Zeke. The real rune, he's trying to take down Zakes with him, but he won't find him. The Maledict, though, will probably get the finish. No, it won't. He survives. That's level 1 Maledict for you. Skill is crap level 1. It's so bad level 1. So Zake survives with the skin of his teeth. I mean, he doesn't have much mana though, so he's gonna have to get a few clarity shipped out. Actually, just drops it all there for the for LP to bring back. He can actually, yeah, he TP's back, regens up, and he'll probably just charge back to wave, back to the lane. That's some express delivery there from your position 4. Very, very nice indeed. Meanwhile, though, Ben is having a much better time this game at being able to just zone out Brady and Sergeant Average. And as a result, Iravel is at top of the CS, 21-0. This guy is pretty much uncontested in this lane. Like, Brady's trying to do what he can, chucking out these iron shells, but it's just not really doing enough to make that much of a difference. So Sergeant Average did go to the mid to fill up Joel's bottle. But even still, just maxing out this Lightning Storm early on here from Madsen is just such guaranteed harassment. And from such far away as well. He's able to avoid that one at least this time. Very fortunate there from him. Still, when you're comparing the CS between Iravel and the real Rue, I mean, it's not terrible. Only 8 CS, which ain't that much. And in terms of net worth, 400 gold. Well, actually, 400 gold in like 4 minutes 50 is quite a bit. But actually, in the mid, 3-man rotation. Well, 2-man rotation from Ben as well as LP, managing to allow Madsen to get a kill onto Joel. So the Shadow Fiend died yet again. And as I was saying in the draft, if you can start ramping up a few kills in a row onto the Shadow Fiend, you really start to dampen his effectiveness. And yeah, it just makes the whole rest of the game seem so much nicer to play. LP. Just charged all the way in there to go straight through Fred, but Zakes just focusing all the poison attacks there. Will just tick down inside the Never Toxin. And already 5-0, 1k gold lead in the favor of Clarity. This game is just going really in their favor so far. I mean, compared to game number 1 and game number 2 was relatively even in the laning phase. This one just not so much. LP going for another charge onto Rilru. Just going to force out the Doppelganger. But this is the only problem with having a Viper. It is such a mana-dependent hero that as soon as you get 1 kill, you have absolutely nothing. Like, you can't do anything. We'll eat 1 mango there. Let's swap back in his Wraith Bands. Just chucks out 3 Raspins, but Rilru always going to be able to just dispel off those poison stacks there with the Doppelganger. It's always a nice little combo there for him. Looks like Sergeant Average has actually made his move up towards the top. They want to try and make a move here onto Zakes with this rotation and the Maledict at the top. It's probably going to be enough damage, and the Maledict cast banking on top of him too many times. Madsen actually diving underneath the tier 1 tower. Joel popping the Requiem, doesn't want to go for it. Oh no, Ben! He gets this wrong. He ends up stunning the creep, stunning the illusion. Doesn't find the right target. And that's going to allow Joel to survive. I mean, it's a 1 in 3 chance. And unfortunately, he just couldn't quite find it. We'll manage to snatch away the bounty, though. Oh, a charge coming in there. Onto Joel. And Ben and Sergeant Average just bumping into each other. Just chucking a couple of right clicks. Also a TP in from Fred. So they're ready to take a fight. Ready to defend the Shadow Fiend if they need to. But these two are just still just right-clicking each other. What's going on here? There's like a little tickle war. Meanwhile, though, what? At the bot lane, Iravel still just free farming away. Has double the CS of the real Rue right now. It's really started ramping up. But already 1,300 gold separating the position 1s at 7.5 minutes in. He's top of the net worth. This is the freest Wraith King game ever right now. Off to a fantastic start for Iravel. Oh, he's actually just going to bump into Brenny Gonto here. Maybe he's going to go for the stun. Also, Madsen getting the pick off onto Fred in the mid lane. I was not quite sure where was he. Yeah, I guess he was trying to secure the rune, I guess. Ends up costing him his life, though. Madsen getting lucky with the rune spawn as well. Double damage as well. Obviously, as a Leshrac, you'd always favour getting an arcane rune, but hey, double damage is always nice. You can't really can't go wrong with that.
Double damage.
Charge there from LP, just hunting down the real Roo, making sure he doesn't just get free farm away. Does also force in the TP rotation there from Fred, but he just walks it off. Doesn't really care. I mean, that might give a little inkling to the fact that there's some high ground vision here. The fact that LP was able to get that charge in the first place. But so you can see that Vanguard is playing so much more careful around this Faceless Void. Shadow Fiend now. Just do not want to let him die any more times. And Ben and LP are in the vicinity. They actually get the spot there onto the real roof, farming up. Are they going to guess which one's the right one, though? It's too damn difficult. There's so many truths on me. He actually gets the right stun onto real roof. Oh, Maz is here. The AoE damage just clears all the illusions away instantly. And that little bash there from LP to secure the last hit takes down the real Roo. And that's just going to help further the rift between these two position ones, which is now 2,000 gold. Absolutely insane margin between them. Irvel also going for the early hand of Midas. I mean, because he can. He has all the space to. He's not being pressured whatsoever. So why the hell not? And his team's doing well enough. The fact that he doesn't really need to get involved with any of these fights. And he does have the Radiance queued up as his next item. Another one who's actually come down to try and pressure. But there's 3 levels separating them as well. 3 full levels. 9 to 6. But even still, Irvel just maybe a little bit scared about what sort of help could be sat behind the real Roo at this point. There's not too much that Raytheon can really pressure him out, despite the fact that he is this high, much more of a higher level. And that's actually just going to force Irvel to leave. He has to go jungle because he just can't find the right target. He's too single damage orientated at the moment. Ooh, Ben. Starting things off there with a nice little double cast and another double cast. He's saying, yeah, come on, boys. Come fight me. Come take a fight. Well, no one is, though. Oh, they're now going to start things off there with the stun and the Maledict on top. Charging there for LP, trying to make some space, but I think Ben's probably already taken enough damage. He probably went out to drop it down. He gets the mic cast onto Fred before he dies, but it's still not going to be enough. And the rotation and the quick little press of the E there from Joel finishes off the kill onto the Space Cow as well. So both supports end up dying. But at least Zakes wasn't really touched. And Brady's got this little illusion army now. This is going to help try and pressure this tier 1 tower with the catapult in tow as well. I mean, they don't last long. Not in the Nether Toxin. That's why the fact it's only level 1. But quite a calm has settled across this battlefield in game number 3. Neither team is really getting super aggressive. It looks like Madsen's actually come down to the bot. I guess it's just to push the tier 1 tower. Spawns a little skeleton army. With the Diabolic Edict. Sergeant Average is here. He's actually going to put down the Witness Curse onto Madsen. And Irvel is just going to shred him. Nice little solo kill pick off there from Sergeant Average. Absolutely perfect play there from him. Keeps the tier 1 tower alive. Gets a kill onto the mid laner. Gets a ton of gold and XP. Just all good things coming out from that little move. And that's the downside when you spawn a skeleton army and you stood right next to your Leshrac. He's pretty damn squishy. Meanwhile in the mid, Maledict as well as a couple of raises. Easily burst down Ben. LP did charge in there to make some space. But it just all comes in too little too late. And now with these last couple of moves, it feels like Vanguard Tidehunter are starting to level the playing field a little bit. I'm sure it's still a 2k gold lead in the favour of Clarity, but it's not a humongous rift. Well, actually, the gap between Irvel and the real Roo does just keep on getting bigger, though. 2,700 gold now. Only 1,200 gold away from his Sacred Relic. And he's going to have this Radiance online at a pretty good timing, especially the fact that it seems that he's also got a hand of Midas. And in the mid, another 3-man move onto the Shadow Fiend. Taking him down. There wasn't enough support from the rest of his team there to help keep him alive this time. And I guess they're just going to try and pressure in this tier 1 tower this time, in the mid. with the help of another little skeleton army that's come out of nowhere. Sergeant Average, he's got his ultimate back online again. He's going to try and go for it. Is there going to be enough damage? It's not quite as much as what Wraithkin would kick out, but even still, it's still so much damage. He's going to end up dropping here. They get the kill onto the tower, but it's going to cost both of them their lives. Double kill there for Brainy Gonzo. The Sergeant Average is the bane of Madsen's life in this game, number 3, just finding the Leshrac next to people every single time. And it literally just came off cooldown as well. That is like perfect utilization of a skill. Fantastic stuff. But I mean, at least this time we got the tower. Like, because the tier 1 is still extremely healthy at the bottom. Always a nice thing as well, having Splinter Blast up against an army of zombies. Although, Madsen, he's going to try his luck on a 3rd time. This time at the top tier 1 tower. Luckily for him, Witness Curse is on cooldown for another 24 seconds. And at least he has some team that aren't right next to him this time. So even if he did get cursed up, he should be pretty fine. But Charge actually coming out here from LP onto Gonzo in the mid lane. There's no sort of TP coming in to lend a helping hand, so I guess it's just to push him off the tier 1 tower, but it's not really going to be enough as Joel's just chuckling a couple of right clicks. Actually, Six has made a rotation here. But a nice little usage of the charge, but he's just getting slowed up with a couple of bashes there from LP. The poison stacks are stacking up. Gonzo's trying to get away, but he's just crawling. Even going to drop down the illusory wall. A wall of replica. Now the rest of the squad that finished off the tier 1 comes back in, but everyone's already disengaged. So they're actually thinking about maybe making a move on to Madsen, who's just slowly right-clicking down this catapult, taking a long time to kill it. Oh, Renovator's usage there from Sakes onto Joel. Holding in place. The charge rolls from LP as well. The cast bounces. It actually goes in to make a little bit of space for Shadow Fiend, as well as the Death Ward and the Maledict onto Sakes. He's going to die for it, but I think it's probably enough damage to get the kill. Ruru gets one final tap, but it doesn't matter. The burst damage is enough to take him down. LP's getting focused up. Madsen's also kept in place there from the curse, and he will get finished up. Ruru is still just keeping chase. The vacuum not quite on target, and LP's just going to go for the man charge out towards the top lane, and that will be enough to keep him alive. But again, it's just another Deathless Leshrac. I was saying in the draft that if you kill a Shadow Fiend enough times in a row, it sort of really hinders this game and makes him feel quite underwhelming. But really, it's a similar factor to the Leshrac, who has now died 3 times in a row without getting any sort of kills in between. And, I mean, he's still 1,000 gold over the top of the Shadow Fiend, but at the end of the day, 16 minutes in, that's not humongous. But when you're comparing 3,600 gold between position 1s, then that is pretty big. That is a pretty big number. I think he's actually got full Radiance already finished up, coming out on the courier. But now, Madsen, at least he's found the initiation onto Joel with the Surge. It's going to be fast enough to get him out of danger. The cast bounces with the Maledict on top, holding Madsen back. And Ben just poking onto Fred, but he can't really do anything. But actually, the charge coming in with the Renovator's holding Joel in place. He can't go anywhere. Fred tries to run away, but he's ran completely the wrong direction. He will get picked off as well. 2 quick kills there for Clarity. They're not going to be able to find any sort of real objective of this. Too early to be pushing into tier 2s. Well, Iravel still just farming up away. 4 levels over the top of Real Rue as well. Radiance, Midas, and Phase Boots at 17.5 minutes in. What's the one that shows you GPM? Am I blind? Can't see it. SP Gold, net worth. Gold minute, there it is. So 572 GPM of the 366 that the Real Rue has. Just nearly, he's like nearly double the GPM, which is pretty damn nuts. Well, not quite double, but you know, it's close enough. And now Madsen is feeling confident enough to just start absorbing the farm in the opposing team's jungle. Just further limiting the spaces that the Vanguard Tidehunter can try and actually get some farm on the go. Now they're just feeling quite under pressure here. All of them just sort of grouped up by their tier 2 tower. Joel just sort of running around in the skirts, but even then he still doesn't have max souls. He's still missing 5. Madsen's going to find the initiation here onto Fred. The Witness Curse comes out, but there's nobody else there, so it doesn't last very long. The Requiem come up there onto Zakes with a couple of raises. There will be enough damage to get the kill onto the Viper. Madsen even getting pretty low. Maledict and Death Ward onto Ben there. He might end up dropping to so much damage, but Irabel's finally getting involved with the rest of his team. He's trying to do some damage, but he can't quite do it. Brady's just managed to get Surge away, but the long range over there from LP pushes him back. He might end up dying for this. He's taking tons of damage. He will eventually drop down. Ruru now getting involved himself. Going to try and get this first life onto Irabel, and he will now take it down. Meanwhile, Madsen was in the back lines trying to make some space, but he gets caught out in completely the wrong position. So Irabel will manage to escape. They take heavy losses for that engagement, losing 3 heroes and just taking down the Darkseer. Definitely not a favourable trade. Vanguard finally finding something good off this map. Actually, well, yeah, I'll say, yeah. 4 kills, but first life of the Wraith King doesn't count. And immediately BKB is the next item here for Joel. And it definitely makes sense. There's just so much magic lockdown on the side of Clarity that it just feels essential. Like everything on the Leshrac, the Ogre, the Viper, just all of this magic orientated builds. It's going to pay absolute dividends in getting this item online. Oh, takes. Sack the Ancients. A little bit of efficiency loss there. So that's the difference between cores and support players. Supports would stack that stuff. Now Uriel, Blink with the Radiance as well on top. Looking to try and constantly get engaged now in any sort of fight he can. And he's super close to his level 18. And have that level 3 ultimate online. He needs to be careful because he's still not got ultimate for 30 seconds. Now there's going to be a lot of people coming after him, but he's so goddamn quick on that Blink Dagger. He just immediately escapes danger. And he should be able to survive this. He's going to back out to his tier 1. And already everybody else is sort of disperses in different directions. We'll just hide behind the tier 1, but he's completely safe. Level 3 armor now online. 40-second cooldown on Reincarnation. It's going to be so goddamn difficult to try and take down this Wraith King. This man is an absolute beast in this game right now. His whole squad has now joined up with him as well. Just in case there's going to be any sort of gank, maybe on Tira while his ultimate was down. I guess this is going to start running at this tier 1 tower, which Irabel could just clear up himself. So I guess I'm going to go for the tier 2 instead. Actually, Irabel's jumping in very aggressively. Goes straight onto Brady Gonzo. It's going to take a little bit of re-engagement here. The Maledict's also used just for his first life. He's going to come back on into us. But now the charge straight there from LB. He cancels out the Death Ward immediately. He doesn't get any sort of use out of that. Irabel taking tons of magic damage. The Witness Curse is there just on the Fred. So we'll get the kill onto the Ogre Magi. Irabel's still trying to run away. He's taking a lot of that damage. He's slow to hell. He's actually going to end up dying for this. The Viper Strike comes out there from Sakes onto Brady Gonzo. We're going to do a lot of magic damage. We've got LP's just running at the Shadow Fiend. So guys, do some damage on this guy. He's so goddamn low. But there is the magic community. The BKB gets popped. LP wants to try and run away from this. He got his status resistance up. He's going to try and charge up towards the top wave. And he's actually made it. God damn, that was close. But even still, fantastic fight there from Vanguard Tidehunter. Actually getting the 2 kills onto the Wraith King as well as the Ogre Magi. So fantastic play there from them. At least able to just stop this game from spiraling too far out of control. It's only a 2,000 gold lead in the flavor of Clarity. And it is like a... well, it's still 5,000 gold separating the 2 position ones. It's just a Hood of Defiance and Diffusal Blade there in the hands of the real Rue. And it looks like Irabel, he's actually got a BKB queued up as his next item. Again, just quite a lot of magic damage and lockdowns coming out from both teams in this game.
A tithe to the impurities.
Looks like Sanjin Kaya nearly online here for Madsen. As soon as he's got these creeps killed, he should have this item finished up. Actually, no, probably still going to be a little bit short. I thought where the build was Yasha and Kaya, but I guess I was wrong. I mean, it definitely, Leshrac 100% needs tank, so it does make sense. just the added movement speed is always as handy in fights to run around and obviously stay on top of people with your ultimate. I mean, the hero is pretty fast anyway, so it's not exactly like it's essential. The River closed in on his own S and Y. He's about 800 gold away from that. But then maybe then he'd feel just a little bit more comfortable taking these fights, just having that extra bit of stats resistance against just the overwhelming amount of crowd control that is coming out from Clarity.
I'll take that.
I'm actually going to go for a little smoke play now. Never Toxin just getting chucked onto the tier 1 tower just to make sure it doesn't get pushed in too badly. Rainy Gonzo is just above them, but they're going to carry on moving into the middle of the lane. Joel, he might actually just show himself, farming up the creeps here. That'd be the perfect target if they want to change around and go for a different one, but instead they've already committed onto Rainy Gonzo. Viper Strike, well as the Spirit Breaker ultimate, no chance for him to survive. Actually, nice Witness Curse usage there onto Madsen, but unfortunately, not enough damage to actually get the kill. If Irabel was there, 100% would have been enough to burst down that Leshrac. Still, now Irabel level 20 as well. Went for the plus 16 strength talent just for that extra bit of HP. Oh, charging the back lines. They found the grab there onto Sergeant Avarice. It's a perfect target to find. Try and burst him down. He will be gone pretty damn quickly. Fred, though, with the cast as well as the magic there on top of the Wraith King. Rilru just focusing onto LP. He's got the stat resistance up, but it's not going to be enough to keep him alive. He still ends up dropping down. The first life from Mirabel also getting taken out. And Fred just has to use his Shadow Amulet and go invisible. Now he's going to focus on Joel. The caster bouncing between him and all the skeletons. But Joel just using his BKB to just try and stand his ground. But Irabel's still not interested. Oh, that crit nearly burst down Fred immediately. Not quite enough though. Now Irabel's just trying to run away, but he's just so goddamn slow. The damage from this PL was just too much for him to deal with. Nice vacuum into the wall as well. Catch onto two of them. And now a lot of AoE damage coming out from Zakes as well as Madsen. But the TP getting cancelled there from long range cast. Nicely done there by Fred. Going to stop the escape from Zakes. Maybe that's what he wanted. He's going to turn around. Madsen also nearly getting the kill with the real room. It's not going to be enough. With a couple of last ticks. Still no. Not enough damage. They're able to get the return kill. Madsen falls as well. Again, another fantastic fight coming out from Tidehunter Vanguard. Another 4 deaths on the side of Clarity, only getting the kill onto the Winter Wyvern. I mean, it seemed like a good target to jump on, but I suppose in retrospect, the Winter Wyvern didn't actually have her ultimate available. It was just her normal spells, but even still, the fight ends up going a little bit skewed. I mean, it did get very separated. Iravel was like all the way over here, completely on his own. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad was in the triangle. So maybe just a little bit of miscommunication there from Clarity. And a few more of those mistakes. It's really closing the gap between these two teams. Like an actual net worth advantage in the favor of Vanguard now. And Ben, Jesus Christ, he just melts in a second. He ends up dying as well. Gone for 43. This is just the tier 2 in the mid. Will end up falling down. They use the glyph just to keep this alive for now. I imagine this is still going to end up... Yeah, they're still going to end up carrying on going for it. No reason to go back now with the creep so nearby. Irabel is there. Maybe waiting to see if you go for the jump onto anybody. Well, they won't go for it. The Vanguard just back out. With the smoke as well into the 3. Just Joel and the Rilru that is revealed. Maybe they might just go straight down to the bot lane. Stop pushing the tier 2. Like, Glyph was already used. So why not? You've got Winter's Curse ready and available to use as well. Pretty much all of your team fight capability is back online. No reason not to. Madsen trying to push in the top tier 2 himself. With the help of a pretty large wave. There is still a glyph though in the hands of Vanguard, which they will use to completely counter that push. And actually, a lot of TP's back as well, just in case. But they already finished off the tier 2 themselves. So only one tier 2 left for Clarity at the top. Meanwhile, all of the tier 2s on the side of Vanguard are still intact. Not super healthy, not the mid one anyway. And so what is the next build coming out here from the main cause? The Real Rue actually got a Skadi as his next item. Still a few thousand gold away from actually finishing up though, so it's not like he's going to have it anytime soon. Finds the Orb of Destruction, but he also has a Paladin Sword, which is sort of like, which one do you actually go for? They both are pretty damn strong in your hands. Which one did he get? Which one's he gone for? Which one's he gone for? Okay, so he actually did stick with the Paladin Sword. I suppose just the lifesteal aspect is just so damn good to help sustain in the fight, especially seeing as how the Wraith King has his own built-in sustain of the lifesteal. So just try and counteract it with his own. Joel, I think he just had his bots delivered. This man is super speedy now. At 549 movement speed. That's pretty goddamn broken. I mean, that is with the movement speed bonus, the Smoke of Deceit as well, but even still, that's pretty goddamn quick. Now, with this smoke, they want to see if they can get pick off onto somebody, but no one's actually shown themselves yet. Actually, Joel, he will bump into Irabel, so they realise that someone's there, but actually, Irabel gets the spot because of the high ground vision, so they realise this gang's coming out. Meanwhile, the rest of the squad, they've actually found Zakes, who's just completely caught here. They're looking for damage. They're going to try and re-engage it to make some space for the Viper to get on out, and he should be able to get out there. Never mind, the Real Root just keeps chasing, takes him down. Nobody else on the side of Clarity wants to get involved, so just sign his life away. And now with the Viper down, it looks like they might just go straight for the Roche Pit. There's not really going to be a way that that Clarity can try and take this fight on 4v5 situation. I mean, the wall was used, sure, but it's not exactly like it's the biggest ultimate in the world. It is still pretty damn strong for him. This isn't exactly a quick Roche either. Only now just at half HP. But I just don't think there's any sort of inkling at all from the side of Clarity that this is going on. Actually, then they do. They got a ward here, so they do spot it all going on. Hey, so I think they just know. There's no way they can actually contest it without just throwing away loads more lives and end up just giving away an even bigger lead. So Aghanim's is actually queued up next for Irabel. Oh, Madsen, he's actually been caught here from the Witness Curse. Dual Scepter straight up into the Rec Room. Actually, they're not even going to bother using it. Aeon Disc gets popped. He wanted to just bait it out. He's going to go for the TP out. Is there going to be any sort of cancel? The cast, it just about managed its connection. The TP sound even went off there. It was that damn close to being completed. Unfortunately for Madsen, just Fred was just in range, just a little bit too close. Now, it's going to be a discipline as well from Joel, not just to go straight up for the Requiem kill. Like, realizes that they're probably going to get that kill regardless, and you save that 100-second cooldown for something a little bit more impactful. So he already got the Arcane Blunt queued up as his next item. Still about 2,000 gold away from it though. Well, the Real Root does actually have enough to buy a Skadi now. Won't have enough for buyback, but I don't think he really needs to bother saving for buyback at this point. He's still got all of your tier 2s left alive. So there will never really be an occasion where you're actually forced to use it. Especially seems like he has the Aegis as well. Absolutely no point at all. Yeah, he does buy it out. So an even bigger power spike now for Vanguard Tidehunter. Uriel's still trying to build into his Ags. Just has a casual Sange. Not quite sure what the purpose of the casual Sange is. I mean, sure, the little bit of added stat resistance is quite nice.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
Meanwhile, they're still just such an aggressively positioned here from the rest of Vanguard. But actually, the jump forward to Mirabel, he's probably got to catch it onto the Wind of Wyvern. He's got the Cold Embrace to try and delay this out. Is the rest of his team going to be able to get here in time? There's so much magic damage just to burst through the Cold Embrace. Not enough to keep him alive. Irwell taking tons of damage with this Maledict as well. His first life will be going. The Death Ward is doing so much damn work. Nobody can cancel it. And now they finally will. It already done its job. Now Irwell can come in. Their first crit just blows up Fred. Going to focus onto the Rumor, who's completely on his own. Where is everyone? Nice vacuum there. It connects onto everybody. The Rakim also coming out. Tons of damage. There's two people dropping down instantly. Irabel pops his PKB. The only one to avoid it. He's going to try and juke himself out of there. But he's just going to get ran down from the Iron Shell and the right clicks. He can't escape. Real Root also finish off Sakes in the back lines. 4 deaths there for Clarity. Not getting it. Well, I said they'll go for it. They got 2 supports in return. Fantastic play there from them. Just that long bait out there onto the Winter Wyvern just took too long to kill. It's just the buyback available for the Viper. And the Glyph will be there to try and delay this out. But I don't think it's going to be enough to kill the whole creep wave. And no, it's not. The buyback forced out on Zakes. But still, the tower's already gone. The melee barracks is going to fall as well. Oh, they're actually going to pull him back on in. They want to try and get this die back onto him. Going to focus down on the charge. Falls out. Collects onto all three of them. Trying to make some space. I don't think it's going to be enough though. He's still just getting so choked down. The Glimmer is actually going to be enough to keep him alive. And this is the problem. Cores do not carry detection. It allows him to escape. Even the Embracer onto the real Rue just to keep him full HP. The charge in here from LP. Very ambitious. There's still no Wraith King up for another 25 seconds. But even still, the damage is done there from Vanguard, and they will just back out. But it's not a fallback. They're all still hanging about in the jungle area. Maybe they're just waiting to see if anybody on the side of Clarity steps out of position. Oh, Madsen's Aeon Disc also getting popped just from illusions. That's always a real... feels bad, man. The Steelers, Vanguard are not letting up. They're still just keeping constant presence outside of the base of Clarity. Just waiting for any opportunity whatsoever to make some sort of play happen. I mean, LP's actually... he's farming up. He's farming up. I guess he really wants that BKB, and he doesn't actually have enough money now to buy it. He won't have buyback. But I don't think it matters. Actually, a Requiem Wall into the loads of damage. Everybody's dropping yet again. There's this fantastic combo coming out here from Vanguard. Ben's going to end up dropping the first life of Irabel. Gets alive. The anime punch pushes him back into the rest of his team. But it's not going to be enough to get the second kill. LP now has rejoined everyone. The cast bouncing over on towards Zakes. Going to try and hold him in place. The magic is on top of the overwhelming damage. He's gone as well. 100 seconds. No buyback on the Viper. And now this is another set of barracks that's going to end up dropped. I don't think they have the capabilities to end the game. But this is 100% a full set of barracks getting taken out here. I mean, luckily for Clarity, they've got their tier 2 at the top wave, keeping that third and final set of barracks left alive. Actually, the real Rue, he actually is beating into the tier 4s right now. Oka's up in a few seconds. Madsen's up in 20. But even still, a tremendous amount of base damage is going to be done up until that point. LP is just trying to make as much space as he possibly can. Uvo now just jumping straight into the real Rue. Got to be a little bit cautious. LP actually says they're getting picked apart way too easily. The first life of Irabel, they just melt so goddamn quick. Just doesn't have enough survivability. The evasion from the Radiances isn't enough to survive him for all of this goddamn damage. The Witness Curse there onto Madsen. Unfortunately, the BKB there was from Irabel, so he couldn't even get the connection. Meanwhile, though, the real Rue still hitting onto the tier 4s. It's all he needs to do is just try and take down these buildings while the rest of the team is just making space. No one can really leave the pit. They're all just constantly pinned here. Another vacuum in there from the Requiem on top. Not enough to get the kill onto Madsen, but it is enough to take down Ben. Irel focusing on towards Fred. He's got his armor back up in 5 seconds. Is he going to be able to survive 5 seconds though? He's not. He's gone. Doesn't have a buyback. This could just be the end of the game. So Vanguard just melting the rest of the squad. Madsen also drops. LP, he can't do much left all alone. He's gone as well. It's just the position 5 Ogre left, pinned inside the well. And GG is called. Clarity tap out. And that is Tidehunter Vanguard taking this series 2-1. And this game, the start was so in the favor of Clarity. Like, the farm on Irvel was insane. They were making really great moves around the map. But it all started off when Sergeant Average got that fantastic Winter's Curse on the Leshrac at that bottom lane, got him killed, saved the tower, done exactly the same thing in the mid lane, and then one more death after that. It really hindered the progress of Madsen, allowed Joel to get himself back into the game, and then it was just a full swing of things. There was nothing they could really do, especially with the damage coming out from the Real Rue as well. Absolutely disgusting. So well played to Vanguard Tidehunter. Quite deserved victory there. Felt like they performed pretty damn well in that third game. I mean, post-Clarity, it's not like they did perform well. They definitely did. It's just they just got caught out just a few too many times, and they just couldn't quite bring themselves back into it. Whew, but even still, Very well played. Very, very well played. But that is it. That is the whole series. I don't think there's any other games still going on because this was a full best of 3 and they were all relatively long-ish games. So I don't think there's any still going on. But even still, thanks for tuning in, guys. I'm going to jump off now because it's 11 o'clock for me and I need to go to bed. But thanks for tuning in. If you've enjoyed the game, if you've enjoyed the cast, please think about following me on my Twitch or my Twitter, my YouTube. All my links are down below. I will also be posting this set of games on my YouTube tomorrow morning. So yeah, hopefully I will see all you guys in the future.